Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We take your curiosity, some really interesting sources, and our expert insights, and, well, hopefully give you a shortcut to being truly well-informed.
Exactly.
And this week, we're diving into a great collection curated by the Pythoness Programmer. She's a software engineering consultant, and she shared what really grabbed her attention between August 9th and 13th, 2025.
That's right. And her picks really give us a unique look into how tech's evolving. We'll be getting into how tech meets our inner lives, personal growth,
Yeah.
the, cutting edge stuff with AI, the good and the bad, and also bigger things like data privacy, what companies are doing, even a little nostalgia trip.
Sounds fascinating. The goal is, as always, pull out the key nuggets and maybe connect some dots you weren't expecting.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The first thing that caught her eye is this really interesting idea. For lots of neurocomplex adults, so people whose brains might process things a bit differently, thinking isn't about dodging emotions, it's actually how they feel them.
Right. That really pushes back against that common advice to just get out of your head, doesn't it?
Totally.
The article suggests that for some folks, emotions pop up first as thoughts, maybe mental pictures, instead of, that gut feeling or tension in your shoulders.
So like sadness might be less a feeling and more a whole internal story playing out.
Exactly. Or anxiety could be like a storm of what-if questions swirling in your mind.
Yeah.
The article even gives this example of grief showing up as replaying a conversation over and over mentally, like a movie loop.
And it mentions that you might only figure out how you really feel by actually saying it or writing it down.
Yeah, getting it out.
So it's not overthinking in the negative sense, but it's the actual process of clarifying feelings. Like you type in a journal and this vague fog suddenly sharpens into, oh, I feel lost.
Precisely. That's the core idea. It's not intellectualizing to avoid feeling. It is the feeling unfolding. And overwhelm for these individuals, it's mental chaos, that tangled web of what-ifs, more than just physical stress. That's why they often use metaphors, like carrying a backpack full of stones or being in a thick fog instead of mapping it directly onto body parts. Reflection, analysis, storytelling, those are their tools for processing.
Which explains why, as the article puts it, body scan meditations might feel like trying to tune into a silent radio station.
Right. It's just not where their signal is strongest. The key takeaway here is spotting the difference between thinking that invites feeling versus intellectualizing that just shuts it down.
So what can people do with this insight?
Well, the article has some really practical advice. Things like name the shape of your mental emotions, use language to locate feeling, create safe internal spaces, and crucially, just affirm your emotional style.
Affirming it, yeah. That sounds incredibly validating.
It really can be. It reduces that shame. It says, hey, it's okay if your mind is where your heart lives.
Building right on that, the Pythoness Programmer also highlighted a resource about understanding highly masked autism and ADHD, sometimes called ADHD, when they occur together.
Ah, yes, the toolkit. This one provides two key things you can download. First, a list, 7 pages of about 50 less common traits of autism in adults who mask heavily. And it links them to the official diagnostic criteria, the DSM-5-TR.
Okay, the standard manual.
Right. And second, there's an 8-page list with 40 signs of masking in ADHD and ADHD, also tied to the DSM-5-TR. It's really designed to help with self-discovery, maybe preparing for a clinical assessment.
Or just helping family or colleagues understand better.
Exactly that. Fostering understanding.
And speaking of understanding ourselves and growing, there's this inspiring personal story she shared. It's about Pramodha Vayasaro.
Oh, right. His journey.
Yeah, he went from being this really shy engineer, barely speaking in meetings, to a director at Oracle and Meta, and now he's actually a leadership coach.
It's quite the transformation. He started at Oracle India back in 2002. English was his third language. He talks about his voice trembling, having a knot in his tongue in meetings, feeling like a fly on the wall.
Wow. I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling.
Definitely. He said writing was fine, but those impromptu discussions were the missing link for him.
So what changed? What was his turning point?
Toastmasters, actually, the public speaking nonprofit. He credits that supportive environment, things like the word of the day, the anonymous grammar feedback.
Oh, yeah, the grammarian role.
And especially the table topics for thinking on your feet, the impromptu speaking practice.
That makes sense. Practice helps.
Totally. He calls it his communication engineering degree. Over 4 years, he gave something like 40 speeches. By 2007, this made him way more effective at work, more visible.
And he got promoted.
2 promotions, yeah. He became one of those, rare, articulate engineers good tech skills and soft skills.
Then he started helping others.
Exactly. He started guiding others, creating courses for colleagues, sharing tips on finding topics, managing anxiety. Oracle even let him do paid coaching outside work, which led to his first paid speaking gig in 2009.
Incredible trajectory.
And by 2011, he was a director, managing 70 people. He kept honing his skills, too, using things like Marshall Goldsmith's stakeholder coaching, 360 feedback. He even developed programs like team building without time wasting.
So even when he got laid off from Meta in 2023...
Even then, he already had this second career as a coach ready to go. He launched Change Myth Coaching, started a newsletter, wrote a book.
Beyond Your Limits, I think it's called.
That's the one. It's just a powerful story about focus and grit.
Yeah.
And how sometimes a setback can actually push you onto a new path.
Absolutely. Okay, so from personal growth and communication, let's shift gears a bit to, well, the machines themselves. Amazon's Alexa just got what an article calls an AI brain transplant.
Using large language models, LLMs, similar to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just a simple swap.
No.
The article paints it as a real slog. Amazon apparently had internal struggles, big technical challenges, moving from their old rule-based system, very deterministic, of X and Y, to this new stochastic, probability-based LLMs.
Stochastic meaning?
Yeah.
Less predictable.
Exactly. More creative, but less predictable. This new Alexa Plus, it's rolling out now. It's free if you have Prime, but $19.99 a month otherwise.
Okay, $19.99 a month. So the big question, how smart is it now? What's the verdict?
Well, like I said, it's a bit of a mixed bag. The good news, it is apparently more fun to talk to. Voices are more realistic. It's better at handling multi-step requests, like set a timer for 10 minutes, another for 20, and one for 45.
Okay, that's useful.
And you don't have to keep saying Alexa for follow-up questions. It can even supposedly book restaurants or make up kids' stories.
All right, but I sense a but coming.
There's definitely a but. The bad news is it's reportedly buggy, unreliable. And the test mentions it sometimes fell behind ChatGPT and, get this, was actually worse than the old Alexa on simple stuff like canceling an alarm.
Worse.
It just didn't do it or got confused. It also hallucinated, made stuff up, told the reviewer the wrong recommended box grader, sometimes just got its wires crossed.
Huh. So the old one was predictable, if basic, and the new one is creative but flaky.
That's the core difference highlighted. Old Alexa was programmed step by step. LLMs are generative, creative, but less controllable. And they can be slow. Early demos apparently had like 30-second delays just to play a song.
30 seconds? Ouch.
Yeah. And verbose, like asking for a timer and getting a 500-word essay about kitchen timers instead.
Okay, so how is Amazon managing this? Combining models.
Yeah, they're using over 70 different AI models and an orchestration system to try and route your request to the best models for the job. But the big challenge now isn't just the tech, it's retraining us.
Retraining users.
Getting us to talk to Alexa plus more naturally, like a person, instead of the sort of robot pigeon, short, precise commands that we all learned for older assistants. It really shows the kinks in integrating generative AI with older systems.
That's a really interesting point about retraining users. Meanwhile, while AI offers new features, it's also hitting the job market pretty hard. This next piece paints a, pretty stark picture for software development.
Yeah, it's tough out there, especially at the entry level. The article highlights Jonathan Kim's story. Paid nearly $20,000 for a coding boot camp.
Wow.
Applied to over 600 software engineering jobs. 0 offers.
600? That's brutal. Why is it hitting entry level so hard?
Because generative AI is just really good at coding. It's logical, black and white, tons of training data available. So a lot of the tasks junior devs used to do are getting automated.
The numbers reflect that, don't they?
They do. New grad tech hiring is apparently down 50% from 2019 pre-pandemic levels. And those coding boot camps, once seen as a fast track into Silicon Valley, the article says they're on their way out.
Plunging placement rates.
Dramatically. One example, Codesmith went from 83% placement in late 2021 down to just 37% for their 2023 part-time grads.
Oof. So where is the hiring happening then?
It seems the industry's swinging back towards recruiting mainly from elite universities, especially for experienced AI researchers. And those folks are getting insane pay packages. We're talking bonuses up to $100 million a year.
$100 million? That's... wow. Talk about a digital divide.
It really highlights it, yeah. A huge gap opening up between the top AI talent and those trying to break in through newer routes like boot camps.
Okay, switching from jobs to business models. Another AI company, Character.ai, made a big change in direction.
Right. They seem to have backed away from the huge goal of AGI, artificial general intelligence.
Sort of godlike AI.
Kind of, yeah. Instead, they're focusing much more on AI entertainment and role play. This shift happened after some co-founders left for Google after a massive $2.7 billion licensing deal.
So they're using open source models now.
Yeah, like Meta's Llama. They claim these open source models actually beat proprietary models hands down for their purposes, and they're making money now.
How much?
Over $30 million annual run rate, aiming for $50 million by the end of the year, which underscores the point that AI is just plain expensive. You need a way to pay the bills.
But this focus on entertainment and role play, especially with a young user base, over half Gen Z and Gen Alpha, spending 75 minutes a day on average, that raises safety flags, doesn't it?
Huge ones. They faced a wrongful death lawsuit last year, and U.S. senators have been scrutinizing the mental health and safety risks to young users.
How are they tackling that? It seems like a minefield.
Well, Character.ai claims they've invested heavily, says over 10 of their 70 employees are on trust and safety. They launched an under-18 version in December with stricter filters, narrower character search, parental insights.
But the CEO admits AI is unpredictable.
Yeah, he calls AI stochastic and says safety has to be a partnership between regulators, us, and parents. Which sounds reasonable, but... Well, the author of the article easily found graphic sexual roleplay content despite the filters, and raised other concerns like weird content moderation, a vampire bot getting censored for the word blood, and people recreating public figures without consent.
How does the company justify that?
They frame it as an entertainment engine. Users consume and create stories. They emphasize role play over companionship, saying less than 20% of use is for companionship. For the public figures, they call them parodies, add disclaimers, and say they have strict limits on video generation to avoid deepfakes.
It's a tricky line to walk.
It really is. And this whole AI companion entertainment market is exploding. Look at xAI, Elon Musk's company. Their Grok chatbot subscriptions apparently drove revenue from $150 million in January up to nearly $500 million by July. Big money, big ethical questions.
Definitely. Okay, let's pivot now to broader digital safety and ethics. This next piece is about data brokers and how they handle your data.
Yes, the opt-out pages. This investigation found something pretty sneaky.
What's that?
So in California, data brokers legally have to give you a way to ask them to delete your data. But this investigation by the Markup and Cal Matters found over 30 brokers out of nearly 500 registered are using code to actually hide their deletion instructions pages from search engines like Google or Bing.
Hide them. So you can't just search for data broker company name, delete my data.
Exactly. They're technically following the letter of the law by having a page, but they're breaking the spirit by making it incredibly hard to find. A clever workaround, as the article puts it.
That's infuriating. What was their excuse? Just an accident.
Most claimed it was an oversight, yeah. But the investigation found these links were often buried, deep, tiny font, hidden behind pop-ups, pages of legalese. Some links were just broken, leading nowhere.
Classic dark patterns. Is anything being done about this?
Thankfully, yes. The California Privacy Protection Agency confirmed the findings and said they're taking action against these kinds of dark patterns designs meant to trick or manipulate you.
Good.
And there's more hope on the horizon. A new California law, the Delete Act, is supposed to create a centralized system next year called DROP.
Drop you.
Delete Request and Opt-out Platform. The idea is you'll be able to send one single legally binding request through DROP-P, and it goes out to all registered data brokers at once.
Okay, that would be a game changer for consumer privacy.
Absolutely. A huge step forward if it works as planned.
All right, next up, shifting from data privacy to environmental impact. The Pythoness Programmer flagged an article asking big questions about Apple's AI plans and its climate goals.
Yeah, this is a really important tension. Apple's publicly committed to being carbon neutral by 2030, right?
Right.
But progress seems to have stalled, at least on iPhone emissions. Since 2022, things have been flat. The iPhone 16 Pro apparently has the same emissions footprint as the 15 Pro. And the article notes Apple changed how they report baseline numbers, making it harder to track year-on-year changes.
Is this just an Apple problem?
Not at all. Google's emissions jumped 48%, largely due to AI data centers. Microsoft's are up 23%. AI is incredibly power-hungry.
And it's not just the data centers, it's the whole supply chain.
Exactly. The article points to slowing progress there. Only one of Apple's 5 big assembly suppliers is actually on track for Apple's 100% renewable goal by 2030. Others are aiming for 2040, 2050. One supplier in India, Pegatron, apparently used 0% renewable energy recently.
Zero.
And then there's the AI itself. It's described as a vicious cycle. Training these models takes massive energy and water. Even Apple's strategy of doing some AI on the device, plus their private cloud compute.
Which they say runs on 100% renewables.
Right, but even that faces scaling issues. Apple has way fewer data centers, like 16 compared to Microsoft with over 120, or Amazon with over 200. And making the advanced AI chips themselves, like from TSMC, super energy intensive. TSMC reported a 19% increase in emissions per chip in 2024.
19% increase per unit. That's going the wrong way.
It really is. And then there's the iPhone afterlife issue.
Meaning?
Well, these new AI features often need new, more powerful chips. This encourages shorter upgrade cycles, maybe around 2.5 years. AI is potentially restarting the cadence of refresh.
So we buy new phones more often.
Exactly. And the secondary market has trouble absorbing the older ones, partly because Apple apparently offers less for trade-ins compared to competitors. It raises fundamental questions about balancing innovation with sustainability.
Yeah, it sounds like a major conflict between the push for AI features and hitting those climate targets across the whole industry.
It absolutely is a real challenge for tech companies and for us as consumers.
Okay, finally, let's end with something a bit different. A tech farewell. AOL announced it's shutting down its dial-up internet service, September 30th, 2025.
Wow. End of an era, truly. Do you remember that sound? That modem handshake?
Oh, absolutely. That screeching, beeping noise that's burned into memory and tying up the phone line.
Totally. AOL really started connecting mainstream America online back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
They didn't offer full web access till '94, but they peaked at, 25 million subscribers in the early 2000s? They were the gateway for so many people.
It's easy to forget, but what's really striking is that even recently, like in 2022, there were still around 175,000 U.S. households using dial-up.
175,000.
Still. Yeah, mostly in rural areas, places where broadband either isn't available or it's just too expensive. It really highlights the digital divide, doesn't it?
Hugely. I mean, think about the speed difference. Dial-up was maybe 0.056 megabits per second. Today's average fiber connection is around 500 megabits. That's almost 9,000 times faster.
Incredible. A photo that loads instantly now would have taken minutes back then.
Minutes. AOL didn't invent dial-up, but they made it accessible. Remember those billions of CD-ROMs they mailed out?
Everywhere. You couldn't escape them.
Right. And the software package, AOL Instant Messenger, You've Got Mail, it was culturally huge.
Yeah, it really was.
So its shutdown is symbolic of how far we've come, definitely. But it's also a reminder that for those 175,000 households, the digital divide is still a very real problem. Where do they go now?
That's the question. A real digital wake-up call wrapped in nostalgia.
Well said.
So what a deep dive that was, thanks to the Pythoness Programmer's curation this week. We went from how our minds handle emotion and really inspiring career changes.
To the messy reality of AI rolling out, affecting jobs, raising ethical questions.
Right. And then the bigger picture stuff, data privacy fights, corporate climate responsibility, and even saying goodbye to dial-up.
It really paints this picture of technology as this constantly shifting force, doesn't it? Affecting our personal lives, our work, the planet. As you've been listening, what's the one connection between tech and, well, being human that really stands out to you? Something you want to maybe dig into more?
Definitely something to think about. Until next time, keep digging into those details and connecting the dots. #, episode sources. Neurocomplexity and burnout. Neurocomplexity and burnout. 7. Signs you're thinking is how you feel, not a way to avoid emotion. 90+ hidden traits of ADHD. Your toolkit for assessment and understanding. Human at the center. Human at the center. From shy engineer to director at Oracle and a skilled communicator. AI reality check. AI reality check. Alexa got an AI brain transplant. How smart is it now? AI reality check. Character.ai gave up on AGI. Now it's selling stories. AI reality check. Perplexity makes long shot $34.5 billion offer for Chrome. Emerging tech, real impact. From bootcamp to bust, how AI is upending the software development industry. From bootcamp to bust, AOL announces September shutdown for dial-up internet access, digital safety and ethics. Digital safety and ethics. Data brokers are hiding their opt-out pages from Google search. Global tech politics. Global tech politics. Apple's AI ambitions leave big questions over its climate goals.